Welcome to English Easy Hub. Join us as we ignite the flames of your English learning journey together.
Please subscribe to watch and embark on your English learning journey. Don't miss out on the exciting content. In this engaging dialogue, Simon, an earnest English learner, seeks his professor's guidance on how to break through the psychological barriers that hinder his spoken English. Throughout their exchange, Simon asks a series of thoughtful questions, revealing common struggles such as fear of mistakes, embarrassment, vocabulary limitations, and hesitation in real conversations. The professor offers not only practical techniques, such as preloading phrases, shadowing, visualization, and circumlocution, but also profound mindset shifts, encouraging Simon to view mistakes as milestones and confidence as a muscle to be trained. The conversation is rich with actionable advice, vivid metaphors, and empowering mental strategies, making it a true masterclass in overcoming fear and speaking English more freely.
Good afternoon, Professor. I've been thinking a lot lately. How can I overcome my psychological barriers when speaking English? Every time I open my mouth, I feel a strange pressure, like the whole world is judging me.
Good afternoon, Simon. That's a powerful reflection. Psychological barriers in speaking often stem from fear of making mistakes or fear of being misunderstood. First, it's crucial to realize that communication is not a performance to be judged. It's a bridge between minds. When you shift your goal from speaking perfectly to sharing ideas, you automatically reduce a lot of internal pressure. Mistakes are natural and, ironically, they often make conversations more human and relatable.
That makes a lot of sense. But honestly, even after telling myself not to worry, when I'm in the moment, I still freeze up. Are there any specific techniques to stop that frozen feeling immediately?
Absolutely. One practical technique is called preloading. Before entering a conversation, mentally prepare a set of go-to phrases. Simple greetings, opinions, filler phrases like "that's a good question." These act like a starter engine. Also, practice speaking under slight pressure in controlled environments. For example, give yourself a 1-minute timer and talk nonstop about any topic. Over time, this trains your brain to keep flowing under pressure.
Interesting. I've also heard about shadowing exercises, where you mimic native speakers. Does that really help with speaking anxiety, or is it more about pronunciation?
It helps with much more than pronunciation. Shadowing forces your mind and mouth to synchronize without overthinking. It's a form of muscle memory training. When you shadow, you stop thinking about English and start moving with English. Over time, it builds a kind of unconscious fluency and rhythm, which massively reduces the anxiety caused by overanalyzing your own speech.
That sounds powerful. But even when I practice alone, I sometimes feel silly or embarrassed, especially when I hear myself making mistakes. How do I overcome that awkwardness?
You're experiencing self-consciousness, a common hurdle. A strategy one recommend is private performances. Stand before a mirror and speak out loud as if delivering a TED Talk. Record yourself on video and watch it with a neutral, analytical mindset. Instead of judging yourself, approach it like a coach. What went well? What could be improved? Over time, you'll desensitize yourself to the sound of your own English voice.
That's such a creative method. But when I actually speak to native speakers, I feel a different kind of fear, the fear that they'll judge me harshly or get impatient.
The fear of native speaker judgment is very common. But here's a truth bomb. Native speakers are usually impressed and flattered when someone makes the effort to communicate in their language. Very few expect perfection. In fact, they often find minor mistakes charming. Build mental armor by reminding yourself daily, "I'm a learner, not a performer." And remind yourself that fluency comes through hundreds of imperfect conversations, not a few perfect ones.
Mental armor. I love that concept. Are there any daily exercises that can help me strengthen this mental armor?
Visualization is one of the most underrated mental practices. Every morning, close your eyes for 3 minutes. Visualize yourself speaking English with ease, smiling, laughing, even handling mistakes gracefully. This mentally rehearses the emotional experience you want to create. Over time, your brain accepts this visualization as your new normal, and it chips away at your fear.
That's fascinating. And I've been wondering, should I also train myself to think directly in English instead of translating everything from my native language?
Yes, that's a critical leap forward. Translating in your head slows you down and creates mental friction. Start small. Label objects around your house in English. Describe what you're doing in English in your mind. Even simple sentences like, "I'm brushing my teeth" help. Thinking directly in English frees you from the prison of translation and brings you closer to real-time conversation fluency.
Sometimes, though, I feel my vocabulary is too small to express myself properly, and that hesitation makes me even more anxious. What's the smartest way to expand vocabulary?
Focus on building active vocabulary instead of passively recognizing words. Choose themes based on your daily life, food, work, hobbies, and learn 10 useful words or phrases per theme. Immediately use them in sentences aloud. Vocabulary is like ingredients for a chef. If you don't use them, you forget them. Regular verbal use transforms passive memory into active ability.
That's really helpful. But grammar still stresses me out. I always fear sounding wrong grammatically. How do I deal with that?
Imagine grammar as a rope bridge. It's wobbly when you first cross it, but the more you walk, the sturdier it feels. At the early stages, prioritize meaning over grammar. Focus on making yourself understood. Over time, with enough listening and speaking, your brain intuitively adjusts many grammar issues. You don't need to master every rule before daring to speak.
What a comforting image. Speaking of exposure, is it really beneficial to join speaking clubs or attend language meetups?
Immensely beneficial. Speaking clubs provide a psychologically safe environment where mistakes are expected, even welcomed. You also hear a variety of English accents and speech patterns, which trains your brain to adapt. Plus, the more you expose yourself to real conversations, the less special speaking becomes, and the more it feels like a normal part of your life.
I've thought about recording conversations with my language partners or tutors. Is that a good practice?
Recording conversations is a masterstroke. It turns fleeting experiences into tangible data you can analyze. You'll notice patterns, words you overuse, grammar errors you make without realizing, or pronunciation issues. Review these recordings compassionately. Look for improvement as much as for mistakes. It's a mirror that shows you growth as well as gaps.
That makes sense. Should I also set goals or milestones for my speaking journey to stay motivated?
Setting milestones transforms abstract dreams into clear paths. Set micro goals. Hold a 5-minute conversation without switching to my native language. Ask 3 questions in a meeting, or use 5 new vocabulary words today. Tiny wins build unstoppable momentum. Celebrate them boldly. Each small victory rewires your brain for more success.
Sometimes when I can't find the right word during a conversation, I panic and the conversation stops. How can I handle that smoothly?
Master the art of circumlocution, describing what you mean instead of stopping dead. If you forget the word screwdriver, you might say the tool you use to turn screws. This skill is essential, even for native speakers. It keeps communication flowing and gives you time to think of the right word later.
Lastly, Professor, do you think it would help if I created a personal mantra or affirmation to repeat before speaking situations?
Absolutely, Simon. A mantra serves as a psychological anchor. Choose a phrase that resonates with you, like, "I grow with every word," or "Courage creates fluency." Repeat it quietly before conversations. Over time, the mantra becomes part of your inner voice, silencing doubts and replacing them with determination and self-belief.
Thank you, Professor. Honestly, this conversation feels like a masterclass in mindset. I feel lighter, more hopeful, and even excited to embrace the messy, beautiful process of speaking English.
You're very welcome, Simon. Remember, language is not learned by thinking about it. It's learned by living through it. Speak bravely, listen generously, and celebrate every single step forward. I can't wait to hear about your victories.
By the end of their heartfelt dialogue, Simon realizes that speaking English fluently is less about striving for perfection and more about embracing the journey of communication. He learns that confidence grows through practice, visualization, and celebrating small victories, and that fear diminishes when one focuses on connection rather than correctness. The professor's wisdom reframes mistakes as vital steps toward fluency and emphasizes that bravery, consistency, and a positive inner voice are the real engines of progress. This conversation stands as a powerful reminder that language mastery is not a test of flawless skill, but a living, evolving adventure, one in which every attempt, no matter how imperfect, moves you closer to genuine confidence and authentic expression.
Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share to keep the English learning journey alive.